In this lecture, we'll be covering Semrush. SEM stands for Search Engine Marketing. This tool is my absolute favorite for honing in on what exactly your competitors are doing with both paid and organic search. So let's go ahead, semrush.com. Okay, from this section, you can put in any competitor or any website that you want to look into right here at the top. I'm going to put in HubSpot.com. They're a huge marketing company. They have a ton of paid and free marketing that they're doing on search. So let's walk through this treasure trove of information. Okay, right here on this first section, we see that there are about 2 million different visitors coming to HubSpot every single month. That is across about 842,000 different keywords that they're ranking for on search engines for free. Of course, not all search terms are created equal. The more buyer intent you have, the more higher value products someone might be searching for, all relate to how valuable these keywords are and the traffic you get from them. So right below keywords, we see the traffic cost, which means for Semrush, how much it would take to buy that same traffic coming from the same keywords if you paid for Google Ads. We see that that comes to $8 million every single month that HubSpot is getting for free. To the right, we see their paid search. They have 7.9 thousand people coming from paid traffic across 473 keywords with an estimated traffic cost of about $67,000 per month. So this is really interesting. This tells us that HubSpot does like to wade into paid search, but not nearly to the extent they're trying to target free Google traffic. You can click on any of these things, which we'll get to in a bit if you want to drill down, but I also want to take you through the other huge amounts of data that Semrush is showing us. They have a great backlink catalog. They even have Google display ads. Google display ads are a little different from the paid search ads you see. Sometimes a website owner will want to monetize his or her site, and they'll put banner ads that come from Google that we can see HubSpot is taking advantage of. So they have 190 total detected display ads. If you scroll down, you can see this really cool graph that charts the rise, or as the case may be, the fall, or even the stability of their marketing efforts. We barely see the paid showing up because the organic, which is the free search engine traffic, is just so much more. But to the left, we can see a circular graph and chart of, okay, where is this traffic coming from? We see both in paid and organic. It's mostly coming from the US, but then it starts to diverge. They're paying for a lot of traffic in India. That's their second most commonly targeted paid section. Scrolling down further, we can see the top organic, which again is free keywords that they rank for. We see the volume, the position, how much it would cost to buy that, etc. HubSpot being number one isn't that much of a surprise, but ranking detected in the first place for advertisement, that's huge. Motivational quotes, it gets a ton of traffic, but not nearly the same cost per click. If we scroll down, we can see competitors that we might not even know existed in our niche. This is going to look at how many keywords in common the biggest competitors have with HubSpot. So right away, you see popular startups that are working in this marketing space. Buffer, they do a ton of great content. They're ranking for a ton of stuff. Social Media Examiner, Kissmetrics, all these people are doing very similar stuff with HubSpot, and as a consequence, they have a lot of keywords in common. If you click on them, you can be taken to a similar page to drill down onto their keywords, their paid search, their organic search, etc. Scrolling down further, it's going to tell you how much of this traffic is branded and how much is non-branded. And what that means is it's not so interesting to some people if your competitor ranks for their own branded term, in this case, HubSpot and similar. But what this is telling us is the vast majority of traffic that they get, over 91%, is from non-branded searches. So whereas a branded search might be HubSpot or HubSpot CRM, a non-branded search term might be free CRM or CRM software. This helps you drill down because you're probably never going to want to try to rank for HubSpot unless you're doing one of those articles like, how do we compare to HubSpot? But for the most part, you're probably going to want to be competing on the actual non-branded terms such as free CRM and the like. Scrolling down, we keep going on with this bird's eye view. We have their top paid keywords, the biggest competitors that they have in paid. So we see, okay, Zoho is really going at it. They have a lot of keywords in common. Scrolling down further for this bird's eye view, we have a sample of the ads they're running, the backlinks, the anchor text that is the most common. What an anchor text is that blue link. The text in that blue link is different from the URL a lot of the time. This shows us how HubSpot is being cited. Then their biggest referring domains. We've got publishers, more text ads. Okay, now let's really get into the nitty-gritty. So we're going to scroll back up. We're going to click on this first organic search, 2 million different people every month, and we're going to drill down. Here we have an expanded graph showing the rise of HubSpot in organic rankings. We can see that not too long ago, they weren't doing nearly as well as they're doing now. This gives you a lot of hope. In a short amount of time, you can see a lot of success in this niche. Let's look at January 15. They were getting about 250,000 in terms of traffic. But today, almost 2 million, right? So they have they've gone up by, say, 8.5 times the amount of traffic they're getting in just a few short years. If you scroll down, you really get a good view as to where this traffic is coming from. You can sort it by the volume, the difficulty it would take to rank, the cost, etc. My two favorite things to sort by is the default traffic percentage, which tells you how much of the traffic out of all of your target domain, in this case HubSpot, is coming from a particular term. My favorite thing to sort by is actually the cost percentage, so I'm going to click that. What this tells us is if you were paying for this traffic, if you bought ads on these keywords, and got these people to come through the paid ads section of Google, how much would that cost? And when you combine that with how much traffic you're getting, how valuable is this particular traffic in terms of both cost and volume to this target domain's business? So sorting by that, we see the biggest thing is HubSpot. And a ton of people, 135,000 people a month are searching for HubSpot. And as people compete to also pay for ads on the HubSpot term, you'll see that that's actually quite valuable. It's $5.59 to buy an ad on Google for this term. So a ton of traffic, a decent cost per click, that's why this is first. The second one, a non-branded term, actually has less of a volume. Less people are searching for advertisement than HubSpot. So you've really made it at that point. It has a similar cost per click, $5.47, but we see a much, much lower cost percentage is coming from this. Why? That has to do with the volume, it has to do with the cost per click, etc. There's a lot of competition, there's way more results for advertisement. As we start going lower down the list, we start getting some really good ideas for how we might want to position ourselves as a HubSpot competitor. CRM. Great term, obviously, if you have a CRM. Looking at the keyword difficulty, though, we see that's an 89. So there's only 100 spots. That is pretty high up there. That is pretty difficult. If we start going down, we see, okay, follow-up email. That's only about a 60. That is much easier to rank for. We see the CPC is actually higher. People want to buy advertising related to this follow-up email stuff. People are selling tools, services, etc. that help integrate with your follow-up email workflow. If you keep scrolling, you'll see a whole bunch of these great terms that you can start integrating into your content calendar if you want to compete with HubSpot for these terms. Scroll down more, and you see we're only on page 1 out of over 8,000. So you have a ton of stuff to work with. Let's go back and see the same type of data for their paid search campaigns. Okay, we're going to click the 7.9 thousand. That refers to the volume of traffic that they're getting. And what this is going to let us do, it's actually really cool. We're going to see exactly what they're putting on particular ads for particular keywords. All right, the first is HubSpot. They don't want their competitors being the only people to put ads on HubSpot. They want to get in on that action too. If you go where it says ad, if you hover over this, you can actually see the exact ad they use for this precise keyword. We see the title, we see the URL, and we see the ad copy. There is a ton of what's called split testing done to perfect these ads. Changing one word, changing punctuation. All these things are done dozens of times, sometimes hundreds or more times, to get the highest converting ad copy and the highest converting keywords. But you're going to cut straight to the end of the line. You're not going to be trying what they tried to do 2 years ago and failed at. You're going to see their best stuff, their latest, most cutting edge stuff right here, right with the help of Semrush, so that you can get, hopefully, the fruits of their labor after trying all those different dozens of variations. You're going to see what works best for them, because if you do a similar thing, if you're offering a similar product, this will hopefully work best for you too. You can go, you can see all this stuff, free CRM, etc. I think this is a really great way to save money on marketing agencies by cutting out all of that early work, cutting straight to the end of the line, and getting the best stuff. Obviously, you'll want to change the copy a little bit to reflect your brand and what you're selling. If we go back again, we can see there's a different category for display advertising. So if we click on that, we can see some of their banner ads that they're posting across the web. So if we scroll, we see the publishers that they're working with. So blackberryseeker.com. They've got 2 ads over there. Great. Let's click on that. These are the type of ads that you see on this blackberryseeker.com. We have the time seen, so are they coming back for more? Did they like their campaign and did they want to do it again? We see the advertiser, we see the days seen. This is going to give you a good insight as to whether or not this is the type of neighborhood you want to join. Is it more than HubSpot? Is it other people in your niche, etc.? So if we go back, we're going back to, of course, the HubSpot section of this display advertising. We'll see a breakdown by country, only 52% in the US. A lot of times other countries are cheaper in terms of how much it costs, although that's certainly not always the case. And you just might, in general, want to target local services elsewhere. You can see a breakdown of display ads by device. Only 20% saw these ads on the desktop. More even on Apple tablets than all the different desktop types. We see the publisher, and here, sample media ads. This is really cool. They spent a ton of time and a ton of work coming up with really cool banner ads, and you're going to see all of what they're doing that Semrush detected so that you can make similar stuff for your similar service. Want free marketing advice? It's in orange. I'm sure they've done a ton of testing to show that orange converts better than red, for example. Book a free assessment in a different color. It looks like a button. If you click on it, it expands it. It's saying when this was first seen, when this was last seen, how many days it was on there, the target URL, which you can of course go to and see their landing page. We're seeing the different domains that they published this ad on. This is a ton of great information. They are spending a ton of money to get this ad perfected, and you're cutting right to the end of the line to see what has been working best for them. There's also a backlink finder, so let's go back and check that out. A ton of backlinks, over 18 million. If you click on that, what we're going to get is a list of all the different websites that are linking out to HubSpot.com. We see there's over 75,000 referring domains, over 66,000 referring IPs. These help you to determine whether or not this is a whole bunch of links from a few people or the opposite, or somewhere in between. 97% of the links are followed links. That refers to whether or not these links carry authority or an endorsement as far as the Google algorithm is concerned. If you scroll down, you can see the anchor text of the link. You can see a whole bunch of good data. The first time the link was seen, the last time it was seen. If you're trying to do what's called a disavow file, which is when you tell Google, hey, we don't want this person's link to matter in terms of your assessment of our site. This is the case if you're getting a bunch of really spammy links from, say, gambling or prescription drugs, etc. You can easily add links that you don't want to a disavow log for easy submission to Google. If you scroll down more, you see a ton of links, a ton of good data about these links. You see when a link was lost. If someone formerly linked to you and just removed that link, hey, that might be a good time to reach out and say, why not link to us again? If you see a link was lost recently, you can investigate that. Why did you lose the link? Did the person delete that whole page? Did they just remove you? If it's a competitor, you can explore how you can get your link hopefully to replace the lost link of a competitor, etc.